No, it's because at first you said I'm gonna do what he says because he's my husband, but then after that you said partnership, which has an undercurrent of everybody has an equal weight in decision. Whereas if you're gonna do whatever your husband says, he basically has the main vote and the veto vote, and
That's
like 51, 60, 70% of the vote, if not
not
100% of the vote.
that's not what partnership represents. Partnership represents that you are willing to do for the other what they are willing to do for you for a common goal. That's what I mean by partnership. That what he is investing, you will invest. If you see him sacrificing, bitch, you better make some sacrifices too. That's what I mean by partnership. Just don't sit back and reap all the benefits and you don't do shit, because where you gonna be at in that
Well, that
courtroom?
might be for you, but when we hear partnership, is two people that are
That's
coming
equal.
in with at the very basis an equal amount of like responsibilities,
Equally yoked.
weight in decision, like they're on an equal level. If you say I'm going to do what my man says, that means you are taking a lower pedestal, he is elevated, and whatever he says, you might say like, I don't think that's a good idea, blah blah blah, but at the end, if he says we are going left, everybody's going left. There's not going to be a half one says left and one says right, and we're sitting there for 2 hours trying to decide which way we're
That's
going.
a
So if you
misconception.
say I'm gonna do what my man says, is he wants to go this way. If he wakes up then tomorrow morning and says, hey, I got a job across the country, you are starting to like call up across the country to see where we're going to be living to find a good
Now
place.
wait
It's
a
not going to
minute.
be like,
That doesn't.
hey, hold on, like, could we talk about this? It's that's where partnership versus I'm gonna do what I says, and that's that. I'm pretty sure that's why he went and turned off. And that's the thing too. If you're gonna be a good wife in quotation, I would assume that you would have already known by the time you were dating this person whether his way of functioning, you can mold yourself to that. If it's going to be always an argument, or if or like you don't like where he's going, well, you already know to detach. You're not going to be like, oh, maybe I can fix him, maybe I can do this. No, if it's not for you, you know already, you detach, you go away. You're vetting already. So
So
by
when
the
I
time you're married, you're already fitting together to like walk together.
so when I say partnership, I think that's a misconception what you were talking about. I understand what you're saying, but when I say partnership, I mean the cooperation of willing to do what your role is to keep your marriage afloat, to keep your relationship afloat. There is no, oh, I'm your wife and I'm just going to do whatever you say. Then what are you there? Of course, you're going to, whatever your man puts out there is for your best interest because you trust his judgment, which is why you would probably say
But
yes
that's
to
what you said at the beginning, that when he asked the question, you said, of course I'm going to do what he said because
yes,
that's my
but
husband.
why
I'm
does
going to
the
do what he
word
said.
partnership?
But
See,
if
here's
you
the
say
thing.
partnership, that it can't, in that scenario, it can't be both.
That's the
It's
wrong
either
Once again,
or.
conception.
once
Either
again. So
it's
look,
either I'm going to do what he says.
Then
It's either we are together, we are discussing, we're having a whole United Nations situation going on. You
partnership
can't really
does
have
not
both.
mean to take away your
But
leadership. What I
definitions matter
That's
though.
what that means.
is
That's
that
That's
hold
what
on.
he wrong.
When there's a partnership, there's no leadership. That's what I mean. It can't be either or.
That's not true. That's not true. That's
But
not
it's
true.
about
and
the
I read
balance,
the
right?
definition.
So for example,
It doesn't mean he's
I
right or
can have a
wrong all the
partnership.
time. It
Hold on.
doesn't
I can
mean
have a
Let's listen
partnership
to the married
with
person.
one
I'm gonna
person.
just hush.
Dylan, let me have you back for a second. I can have a business and have a partner, and I can own 55% of the business, and the other person can own 45, right? Now, most decisions should be made together, but they're going to come a point where you just cannot agree on whatever it is, right? Let's say you got kids and you think that the kids should go to private school and the wife wants to go to another private school, right? And when it comes to something like that, that is where, even in you're in a partnership, you have the discussions and you take input from your wife. As a man, you'd be like, you know what? I understand what you're saying. And I'm not taking away from your feelings about this. But in this particular case, I'm making a decision as head of the household for our family, right? And I'm going to own that decision. And because like in my marriage, in my house, those things happen all the time. But my wife knows if I make a decision and I make the wrong one, I'm also going to be the one to fix it, right? I'm not going to run and hide and everything else, right? I'll be like, you know what? I fucked up. So now I need to own it, and now I need to resolve the situation. But my wife will allow me to make that wrong decision, even if she thought it was always the wrong thing to do, right? But I take her input.
Without using pushback.
And I don't just run with what I want every time, right? I have input because I value her input as a partner.
It sounds like
Jerry is stuck on the allow. You have to stand on the allow.
Hold on. Did you just say your wife will allow you? As a man, what do you mean allow?
He's being obtuse asking him that.
So look, she could just as easily fight me till the end of the days, right? So when I say she allows me, she's like, you know what? I don't agree with your decision, but I'm going to follow your lead, right? So when I say allow, right, let's not get caught up in like the particular verbs and nouns or the words that I'm using, right? Because she could easily just be like, yo, I'm not doing nothing you got to say, right? I don't believe in your...
Easily say that if she's supposed to be your wife, she's supposed to submit to you and you're supposed to lead. God, husband, woman.
So that's both, right?
She
can submit. So to me, by her submitting, she is allowing me to make those decisions. That's how I view it.
That a word
allow sounds like she's giving you permission.
Pushback unnecessarily.
She's giving you permission to...
So I don't look at it that way.
But wait, Patrick, what's the definition? Because the first
you don't look at it that way, but that's what it is.
Yeah, we gotta go by definition. Because first, Patrick, you said a whole definition when it came to dealing. Same thing with partnership. This is the definition of partnership. It says a business arrangement where two or more people agree to work together and share responsibilities and profits. So you can have your own definitions of allow, but if we go back to your rhetoric of definitions, it's like,
it's just like when someone says, will you allow me to speak? Of course, you don't need permission.
Let me backstep and let me remove the word allow, right?
Damn,
she will take my lead. Okay, whatever.
Yeah.
See, when you say allow versus she would take, is she submitting to you or is she not? Because there's no middle ground with that. It's not as a wife who's going to submit to a husband, it's not, I don't agree with what you're saying, but there's no but. It's we're doing what you're saying because you're my husband. So that's why I'm like, what is the allow? Like, okay, like whatever it is that you're saying, okay, cool. I don't agree with you, but I'm still gonna follow you. No, even if she is feeling that way, she's never gonna vocalize that to you because she's going to submit because that's her role. Because you show that you're a leader and that you're leading the household and you're the head of the household. So I'm sorry, that allow word just triggered the hell out of me. I was like,
this sounds like a lot of politics.
More like allowing and all of that would be like in the realm of like a partnership, basically. Like where you're talking and it's like, okay, all right, you know what? Here you can do that, blah, blah, blah. But if you're really in the realm of I'm gonna do what my man says, it's gonna be like, well, okay, you decided. So how do we get to wherever it is that you want to go? And you just go on and go. So that's so you just have to see, and that's why Dylan, when you were at first, you were like, I'm gonna do what my man says, and you're like, it's a partnership. You're kind of off. It kind of goes off kilter. So are you going to do it and be like, okay, even if internally you're like, I'm not sure about this, or are you going to be like, I allow you?
That's what he was speaking to. Being submissive to your man doesn't mean giving up your individuality and your means to say, hey, I have a thought. Hey, I have a question. Let me ask you something, Ms. B. Do you think that the success of a good institution, and by institution, I mean marriage, do you think that weight is fully on the husband?
I would say a good part, yeah.
No, like 100%, not 99, 98, 100% is the success, the respect, the loyalty, all the things that make a successful marriage lasting. Is all of that weight and responsibility on the shoulders of the man, of the husband.
It's 100% on both, because
that
both
means
have
that
to
we don't have to do shit then, because he's just
no. I'm saying both have to put their 100% in there. You cannot go. You have to go. You have to go 100% in your role. You cannot go halfway. You can't do part-time and whatever it is that you're doing. You are the husband, you are the man 100%, as your role as a husband. You are the woman, you are a wife 100% as your role as a woman. However, like the husband says, okay, we're gonna do this. I'd like you to do that. You are fully invested. You have to invest yourself fully in it. If you're going halfway or you're pulling back, at one point you're gonna be off kilter. Your table's not gonna be level. So it's not a 100% on one person. It's everybody has to put their 100% in there. So you have to be fully a leader. You have to fully be a wife. You have to fully be a mother. You have to be a fully be a father.
But I get what you're saying.
I didn't say a wife. I didn't say the wife can be can or cannot. What her role, whatever the husband says, this is how I see. Like we have chosen each other in our marriage. This is where I need you to be. She should have already known way before she was married. But when she's married, yes, I am 100% in that role. You place me, and we're in it.
But I thought you said the 100% was on the man. So what is
no? I said 100%. Everybody has to put their 100%.
So you said something about her role. Do you not think a role is the same thing as doing your part?
Even if it's a part, it's your role. It's not a partnership. If you're doing everything that your man is, that I'm gonna do everything that my man is gonna do. My role is to do everything that my man is going to ask me to do.
That's your part. It takes two to make a marriage successful. What I do know, even though I'm not married, it is a hard. Well, for some people, they make it hard. But if you share the same principles and values and have respect for one another, you will have challenges, but you will set things in place to make sure you can get back to where you need to go, to where you need to be to have a successful marriage. How is it that it's not a partnership if you are not agreeing to cooperate with your man to say, hey, your role and your part in this is to lead this family, and I am not going to give you pushback. That's my role. That's my partnership. That's how I show I have your back. I'm not going to question your judgment because it's already hard enough for you to make a decision for yourself.
Let me ask you a question. Let me ask you a question. Okay. What if he do it wrong? What if he lead y'all wrong on that instance and he make a bad decision? What do you do?
Before I answer that, can I ask, do you believe that a husband can make a wrong decision?
Yeah, absolutely.
Does everybody else think that?
Anybody as a human can make a wrong decision.
Yeah.
Okay. Now ask me again your question.
What happens when he make a wrong decision and he leads you the wrong way? What are you gonna do?
I will trust that if you make a wrong decision, that you can assess where you went wrong, go back to the drawing board, and you can say, hey, baby, I led us to a river with no water, but I'm going to get us some map.
At what point do you start getting shaky?
When I'm dying of dehydration. You keep saying, baby, I'm going to lead you somewhere where we're going to be prosperous. And I'm dying of thirst. I ain't got no money. I ain't got no security. I ain't got no babies. I ain't getting no dick. I ain't getting no flowers. I ain't getting no, oh, your hair looks nice this evening. I ain't getting no smacks on the butt. I'm not getting, nothing. At that point, I'm starting to question, because if you can't take care of me, you already not taking care of yourself.
You know what's so interesting? I define marriage
if you're having so many losses after losses after losses, then you're gonna have to start to ask yourself, did I choose the right person in the first place? Was I marrying the person for the person, or was I marrying a vision thinking that I could model them into something?
You know what's so interesting is that I often tell people, because everybody got this philosophy about matching and whether or not I can lead and all of this other stuff. And I tell people all the time that the true way to evaluate whether or not you're prepared to be with this person or to marry him is you have to ask yourself, what are you willing to endure through? And that's a conversation that people are not willing to have. People have conversations on what you like about a person, can he lead, and all of this. But usually when they had that conversation, the assumption is that everything is going to go right. If he's a leader, that the decisions is going to be made the right way 100% of the time. That's not what marriage is. Marriage is evaluating what you are, how far you're willing to go, and what you're willing to endure through, and what you're willing to put up with. Because see, we only talk about the for richer part, but we never talk about the for poorer part. Y'all saying on here, well, I got to start questioning whether or not he leading me in the right direction. I'm gonna have to bail or whatever. I know for a fact that it don't matter if I'm under a bridge living, my chick ain't going nowhere, ever. And when you make that vow for richer or for poor, y'all don't take the for poorer part. Like, y'all don't take that serious. You don't take the in sickness part serious. And marriage is what can you endure through and still maintain frame, still be solid, still hold it down, still stay faithful, still not willing to run away, still not doing none of that stuff. That's what marriage is. That's truly what it is. And if you can't have that conversation, because everybody wants to have a conversation about what your favorite color is, what you do for a living and all of that. But I will tell you that you're not really tested until you don't have nothing. And that's why it's ultimately better for people to get married younger, because y'all have a vested interest in seeing each other as successful. And 9 times out of 10, you're going to go through something where you really, really struggle. You're going to struggle financially. Somebody going to lose a job. You're going to get laid off. That's the true test of what marriage is. And if you're not built for that, then you're not ready to be married. If you're not built to fill in the gaps when he don't have nothing, or if everything go bad, then you're not ready. You're not a wife. Anybody can be a wife and everything is going well. That don't mean shit. But who are you when everything goes bad? Because it's easy to take a dude's girl when he fucked up.
Mm-hmm.
Let me tell you, let me say it again for the people in the back, because they really didn't hear that part. It's easy to take a dude's chick when he riding on a spare tire.
I get it.
That's the true measure of a woman, is if she's still looking forward and she's not looking out the side window when you ain't up. Because you're not gonna be up 100% of the time. That's who you know who your wife is the chick that's loyal to you when you ain't got shit. If you lost it all, is she still there with you? Is she still down with you? Is she 10 toes in, or is she 1 foot in and 1 foot out? Is she starting to question everything? Because honestly, God may be teaching you or taking you through something to prepare you for what greatness is supposed to look like. But she can't see that. She don't know the vision. She don't understand it. You know what I'm saying? And so what her interpretation of you being wrong or you leading the wrong was exactly where you were supposed to be, but she can't endure long enough to actually get the benefits.
Can I speak to the point? I think, Anton, correct me if I'm wrong, I believe you were on a Randy. I think that's her name, this light-skinned girl. Y'all were having a conversation about something, and you spoke to having all these things and then losing it all and then gaining it all back.
Mm-hmm.
And through that, I'm assuming that Reid is your wife's name, right?
Mm-hmm.
You all never separated. She held you down. She trusted. No,
we never separated.
That's what I'm saying. Yeah. So she trusted that, okay, well, he lost everything, but I know that my husband has what it takes. If he had it once and he lost it, he can get it again.
She didn't say none of that shit.
Well, not saying it. I'm saying
listen. It was never about what I was going to get. It was never about whether I was going to be up. The only thing that mattered was that we was together.
Yes.
The conversations was never from her end. Now, on my end, I was determined.
Mm-hmm.
I was just driven. But on her end, she was just like, fuck it. Like, as long as we got each other, we good.
Right. But I think
that's the only thing that mattered. It didn't matter. It didn't matter to her. Move back into the mother's basement.
Mm-hmm.
All 3 of my cars had got repossessed. Repo man was banging on the door.
But you didn't stand that way, right?
We in it.
But you didn't plan to stay that way. Otherwise, we wouldn't be talking here now. You wouldn't be,
it didn't matter about the plan. The plan.
I'm not saying that she would not have been with you. It's not about that. I'm saying
absolutely would have still ran with me.
Well, right. That's what I'm saying. So it's like ultimately both of you knew that whether we are broke, whether we have money, at the end of the day, I know that I'm with a person that's always going to have my best interests at heart. So whether we live in a studio apartment or we have several homes, I know my man is going to lead us somewhere where we don't have to worry, where we don't have to struggle.
Listen, you missing it. The conversation
I hear what you're
was
saying,
never about where
I'm being realistic
or whether or not that is realistic. I'm telling you,
if that's the case, you would have never became a millionaire again, or however it went, you would have just stayed in your mama's basement.
She didn't care whether I had ever became that's my thing. She wasn't with me for what I was to become.
I'm not saying she was. I'm
she
saying that
she was with me just because she didn't give a fuck about nothing but me.
Yes.
That's it. That's the only reason she was with me. Is because the only thing that she cared about was me.
So why do you work so hard, Anton? Why do you work so hard?
What my vision is for my family don't have nothing to do. I'm saying, what does it take to be a wife? What it takes to be a husband is a completely different conversation, is my point.
I got you. I guess what I'm just speaking to is that even when your man don't have all the answers, you'll trust him enough. I'm saying that because you've displayed good qualities and characteristics, it's easier for a wife to say, you know what, I know that if things fall through, it's not a reflection of you not giving a fuck or you not giving a damn. Things happen, but I know you're going to see it through for this family.
Listen. What I'm saying is my chick didn't give a fuck and wasn't on Instagram and paying attention to what everybody else was talking about and doing. She was only caring about
do with what I'm saying.
But because we was running our own race in our own time. When everybody else was up, when everybody else was winning, we wasn't on social media paying attention to what everybody else is doing. And we was happy, broke. Happiness is a mindset. Success,
so why didn't y'all stay broke?
Marriage is a mindset. My point is that people are evaluating and trying to measure themselves based off of what they see happening in society and social media. It's not an effective way to find out how you're supposed to marry somebody.
That is true.
It's tunnel vision. It was all tunnel vision. That's it. Her tunnel vision was, I love him, and that's it. And my tunnel vision was completely different.
So what do you think the difference is between a woman that says through rich or poor, I'm rocking with you versus a woman that dates a bum? I'm not even trying to be funny, or what is the difference?
That dates a bum. I don't understand.
Meaning that he may not be able to lead you to security. So how do you know if a woman is with someone, like a woman that's with someone that has the ability to make the family successful and things fall through? You lose your house, you lose your cars, you lose your properties, and you don't have shit, but you're still happy. What's the difference between having a relationship like that and being with a man that don't have it at all?
Dylan, what it really sounds like to me, while I'm listening to this conversation, you keep asking the same questions, Anton keeps giving you the same answer, and it ain't connecting, right? And I think it's not connecting is because you have to realize that all relationships have an element of risk, right? And what Anton is, I think what I hear him saying is none of that shit mattered to him and his girl, right? None of it mattered, right? She trusted the process. And so however long it was going to take was however long it was going to take, right? She believed in him unconditionally, where she felt like what look, if they never made it, they were going to die tracing the dream together.
Exactly. And my point is that everything everything that y'all was saying prior to that is that y'all love was based, or y'all loyalty was based on condition.
Yeah. So unless you're willing to buy into it so much where you're willing to die chasing that, right? Or just believing, no matter if he fails 1,000,000 times or 10, right? You just got to believe that it's going to happen eventually. It's like God, right? Like no one's seen him, but if you believe in Christ, then you believe in it.
100%. Because it's and the reason that makes sense, we can move on to the next subject after this.
Please.
The reason that makes sense, because again, a lot of times, especially in today's age, people measure themselves based off of what they have or how they can compare themselves to what another couple is doing, couples goals and all of this shit. There's a lot of guys that have a purpose in their life to just save children, or he's supposed to have a regular job, but his purpose is ultimately to pour into this particular person or whatever. Everybody is not supposed to be the most phenomenal purpose, but phenomenal person, but everybody is supposed to be purposeful. You know what I'm saying? There are wives historically that held down their husbands despite allegations. When you think about some of our civil rights leaders and all of that type of shit, their wives held them down for a greater purpose. Everybody is meant to do something specific in life But every woman, most of these women today think that their love is conditional based off of the success of the man. That's what I'm saying.
Well, I wasn't defending that. Maybe I didn't convey it the right way. And I'm speaking, it's fine. I think maybe I wasn't wording it properly, but I'm not speaking to looking at other people's success and trying to compare. I was speaking to, I forgot the original question. You piggyback off of Miss V about what if he makes the wrong decisions. I think that was the original question. If he makes too many wrong decisions, I guess you were asking at what point do you stop?
The point that I was, let me just, we can just end it. We can end it on this. We can move to the next subject. The point that I was making is that what you may view as a wrong decision may not necessarily be a wrong decision.
I was just saying that marriage is a lifetime commitment. I think that it will be a lot of mistakes made along the way. I don't think that cancels a man out from being a good man or not. And the same with the woman. She's going to make mistakes too. I don't think that makes you more or less of a bad person. I literally watched my parents, well, not even my father, he ended up remarrying. But the point is, like, they stuck together so, like, they've been together the last 20 years. They've stuck together so well. I mean, to the point where if we were struggling in our household, we did not know as children, as teenagers. We did not feel any of the brunts of their relationship because they wanted to make sure that our upbringing was a good upbringing. We did not feel that. They had a great, I mean, I would say, you know, even if they argued, they never did any of that in front of us. We didn't see any of that. I saw my father being a man, going out here every day, handling his responsibilities, taking care of me and my sister and her children as well. And that's just what he was. He watched his father do it. And that was the example of the man that I know and love to death, my own father. You know, and I think it's give and take. He says, he even tells me too, he said, I don't let her think she run everything. She don't, I mean, I let her do a little bit, but he said, but this is my castle. He makes it very clear.
That's how it should be. No, that's how it should be.
Where you from, Sharice?
I'm from DC.